video after video, headline after headline. Meanwhile, unseen players weave the threads of control. Corporations, governments, secret agencies, and you're at the center of this mechanism. The stream doesn't just hold your attention, it shapes you, not as a master, but as a resource. From the CIA and Operation Mockingbird to DARPA and TikTok, this is the story of an information stream that doesn't just inform, it transforms society. Just 3 years after its creation, the CIA was already aiming to control not just events, but the narratives around them. At the height of the Cold War, fear of Soviet influence and propaganda turned information into the new battlefield. In 1950, one of the CIA's most secretive programs began, Operation Mockingbird. Its goal? To build influence channels through journalists at major media outlets like CBS, Time, and the New York Times. With the push of a button, reality could be rewritten, not by facts, but by headlines. Public opinion wasn't shaped by fake news, but by carefully directed truth. The operation's first major success came in 1953 with the overthrow of Iran's government. In collaboration with the British MI6, the CIA launched Operation Ajax, a covert coup against Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, a fact only revealed decades later through declassified documents. In the American press, Mossadegh was portrayed as a villain, a radical, a threat to stability. But the reality? He had nationalized Iran's oil industry, a move that directly threatened the interests of Britain and the US, both key economic players in the region. But standing in the way of the CIA were people for whom truth mattered more than fear. Among them was Carl Bernstein, investigative journalist at The Washington Post and part of the team that exposed the Watergate scandal in 1974. A vast scheme of wiretapping, manipulation, and cover-ups that led directly to the White House and the resignation of President Nixon. The only presidential resignation in US history due to scandal. Bernstein's investigations triggered a chain reaction. Americans no longer believed blindly. They demanded truth, accountability, and answers. By 1976, the pressure fell upon the Senate. The historic hearings known as the Church Committee began. And there, in front of the nation, brutal revelations surfaced. Attempts at political assassinations, including Fidel Castro, MKUltra, the Mind Control Project, experiments with drugs, hypnosis, torture, isolation, electroshock therapy, and the list goes on. With many, many deaths of innocent people and lasting psychological damage. But that is a topic for another video. In these hearings, Operation Mockingbird was officially declared terminated. But was it really? In February 2003, DARPA, the Pentagon's technology arm, launched the LifeLog project. Its goal? To collect a person's entire digital shadow, location, photos, messages, online behavior, habits, to map their life. Just a year later, on February 4th, 2004, after public criticism and concerns about personal freedom, the project was suddenly terminated. But guess who appeared online that very same day? Facebook, the social network that promised to connect the world, became a digital laboratory where millions of people, unknowingly, were subjects of behavioral experiments. In a short time, Facebook already held the data of millions. But by 2018, what had been happening quietly behind the scenes exploded. The Cambridge Analytica scandal. It all started with a simple psychological test. Cambridge researcher Alexander Kogan created an app that paid users to fill out a survey. Around 270,000 people participated voluntarily. But due to gaps in Facebook's privacy policies, the app gained access not only to their data, but also to the profiles of their friends without their knowledge or consent. This way, personal data from over 87 million people was harvested, and all of it handed over to Cambridge Analytica. Facebook was accused of using this data to influence the 2016 US elections and the Brexit referendum in the United Kingdom. It turned out that with an accurate psychological profile, you could not only predict, but even change how a person would vote. Cambridge Analytica claimed they had modeled the behavior of more than 70,000 voters in every key state. What happened with LifeLog was not an isolated case. In fact, the transformation of military projects into technologies for mass use has been a long-standing practice. If the Internet, ARPANET, was originally created by the Pentagon as a decentralized network designed to survive a nuclear strike, today it has become the backbone of our entire lives. The same goes for GPS. Initially developed by the US Department of Defense to guide military targets, today billions rely on it for everyday navigation. Even Google, the world's largest search engine, received early funding from government agencies such as DARPA. These stories reveal something crucial. The public and the private are often far more connected than they appear. And if you want us to keep uncovering these hidden links, subscribe right now. In this model of operation, the question is no longer whether the Pentagon controls Facebook, but whether Facebook and the Pentagon are moving in the same direction, working hand in hand. To what extent are tech giants truly independent when their very foundations and success were built on government-backed structures? This technological struggle is not one-sided. Across the ocean stands China with its TikTok, a tool many claim is more dangerous than any spy program. And if you want to understand how this conflict escalates into a global race for dominance over 5G and Huawei, don't miss the next video. The next clash is not between America and the media, but between America and China. And this battle will decide who holds the future of technology. In a world where data is the new power, the question is not whether you are free, but to what extent you are being controlled.